Two dads in a Chaz, putting trophies on the wall. Two dads in a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. Two dads in a Chaz, talking Green Bay Packers football. We gonna break it all down, probably leave out some facts. We gonna make some statements that we'll likely regret. Mostly gossip and rumors made straight off the top. So crank up the air conditioning, cause it's bound to get hot. Two dads in a Chaz, you know we live it and we live it right. Two dads in a Chaz, we gonna break down football for you tonight. Besides some rings and putting trophies on the wall. Trophies, y'all. Two dads in a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.
Well, hey there, hi there, ho there, you hosers. Welcome back to Two Dads and a Chaz podcast, the Green Bay Packer pod with the dad bod. Haven't seen some of these guys in a while, as most of you know, because you were banging down our door, whether it was by text, whether it was by email, whether it was by fax, whether it was by carrier pigeon, or whether you were crazy like Shane from Shawano and actually trying to come into my house. Yes, we took a week off. Yes, we were aware. It was planned. We apologize. We didn't tell you beforehand. We wanted to take a little bit of time for friends, family, and foes. So, obviously, we didn't cover the Carolina game. And let's be honest, it was a bit of a blowout. Let's be honest. There were some crazy things that happened. There was some Jair news we're going to have to talk about because everybody else did. Obviously, he is not going to be playing this week with a one-game suspension. Not to mention, Anders Carlson became the only kicker in the league to have 5 missed extra points in the season. Fun stat here, Jaden Reed surpasses Sterling Sharp for the most catches by a rookie with 58 and 2 touchdowns. We will be talking more about the offense later on. And I got to say, my favorite part of this last game, first and foremost, was definitely getting to hear Packer fans in a Viking stadium somehow getting a Go Pack Go chant going. I mean, that is just impressive. In one of the loudest stadiums in the country, that is impressive. So give yourself a hand, Packer Nation, if you were out there giving it your all against Minnesota. We're going to start things off just a little bit differently this week. I've got 2 of the dads here. We've got Ty B.D. Wendell, and we've got, of course, the Porcelain Prince himself. So, my friends, if you've got cheese in your veins, if you've got cheese in your veins, beer on your breath, and Packers in your heart, welcome to 2D and a C. Oh, guys, I feel a little rusty. It's weird taking a week off. Am I right or am I wrong?
I got Packers in my veins.
And a little beer on your breath. I can tell it from all the way down here. And where do I live again?
Austin, Texas, baby.
Yeah, well, close enough. Close enough. Gentlemen, how was the game watching experience all around?
Got plenty, my man. My game day experience was fantastic. It was the kind of night that as a Packer fan, I felt like we could really do no wrong. But I think like the tipping point was I was in the kitchen, rounded a couple of things out, finally came downstairs, only to see Kirk Cousins with his shirt off, wearing some fucked up gold chains blowing through. You guys, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's hard not to be like disgusted, you know? And I look over at my buddy and he like leans into me, and Chaz, it was just like a league of their own, you know? He's like, we're going to fucking win this game. That just sealed it. I'm like, yeah, buddy, you're absolutely right.
And that's so crazy. I saw that when I came in. I was like, man, Kirk Cousins looks like an 8-year-old boy. And I realized that was just his 8-year-old son. But, you know, it was weird for me. I thought, no wonder he's not playing.
He looks different without the flak jacket.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of Packer fans there, though. A lot of Packer fans at this game.
You're absolutely right, man. Like the noise was, it was hard not to notice that for sure. Again, for me, just surrounded by a bunch of good friends, almost like right out of the gate, it felt like this team was in control, and what was just like a very fun game to watch. You know what I mean? To kind of set the stage for what we're going to discuss like a little bit later. But no, at the Mayhew household, it was one good thing after another.
Going strong. Folks, I want to hear about some quick reactions from these guys here. First and foremost, Ty? Quick reaction.
Yeah, this game, I'm right there with you, Mayhew. It was just celebratory mood. You know, the holiday, I was feeling good. To set the table going into this game, we knew that the Seahawks had lost. And so it was, our path was laid out. We got that gift. It kind of felt like things were just falling our way, and we just needed to take care of what was right in front of us. And boy, did we ever. Wow, the best Packer team of the season showed up. And now we have to recognize a few things. The Vikings quarterback situation was atrocious.
Garbage.
Worst situation in the league. No good answers. That Nick Mullins had turned the ball over 4 times the previous week, and I thought, oh, here we go. And then they benched him for the rookie Hall. And I didn't know what to think. I honestly thought we were going to get Tommy DeVito'd. And this guy was just going to run left and run right all over us. But pretty quickly into the first quarter, you could see that one team was just miles ahead of the other, and on both sides of the ball. I expected to have some success on defense against the struggling quarterback. What I wasn't prepared for was just that onslaught of offense from the Packers, doing whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted. LaFleur had them spinning every direction. They would rush 3, and we'd run the ball. They'd rush 9, and it'd be a quick slant. I mean, it was a boxing match that they were not prepared for. That was the funnest part for me, was seeing that offense just rip this team apart, and having it pretty much be over at the end of the third quarter. I know there's a whole game to cover, but man, that security, we haven't had a game where garbage time was a factor. I mean, it was just so overall, the thoughts on the game were what a thrashing.
Absolutely. I'd like to expand on that just like slightly too. For all of our fans out there, we attempted to bring Andy Reich back, our Vikings fan extraordinaire. Of course, he pussed out given the beating that was endured, but I was really curious. I want to talk to him. This quarterback situation. Mullins the week before, like you said, pick after pick after pick. Still looked like a stronger candidate, in my opinion, than who they started the game with. But I don't understand what happened to Josh Dobbs, who they traded for. This guy basically won 2 games in a row, was like the one spark they had like a bad game, I think. And he's sitting on the sidelines with, 0 hair on his head. And I don't know, like from a coaching perspective, what their approach is for like the rest of the season. But all I know is that I think they made all the wrong choices along the way. Also, Ty, I think you're absolutely right. Where here, let me read it to you here. I got a lot of numbers. I like numbers here, but
You do.
Brian Flores, defensive coordinator of the Vikings, he blitzed Jordan Love on 25 of his 33 dropbacks. Okay, 25 of 33 sent in extra pressure, but Love was under pressure on just 11 of those dropbacks. So you basically cut that thing in half. What does that tell you, boys? That the offensive line came to fucking play that day. And there's been some struggles throughout the year, whether it's communication, left side of the line just kind of like not holding up. And like, man, the Minnesota Vikings front 7 is no joke. It is like no joke. But LaFleur, Stenovich had them prepared for everything that came, and Jordan had outlets every single time, or just seemed prepared on every single drop back. And it was refreshing to see. All these things we've complained about throughout like the entire year kind of all of a sudden clicking and working. And that gives me a lot of hope for the potential future, however that unfolds.
Yeah. And LaFleur, he made a lot of statements before this game was even underway. I think suspending Jair was a big time statement. It said, even without my best corner, and I know your best player is a wide receiver, I'm still going to maintain order on this team. I'm still going to maintain control, and I don't need it. I don't need them because I got you schemed 6 ways to Sunday. I think that was a big time LaFleur. I mean, it was reminiscent of the Chiefs game where it was just like, wow, he really came to challenge this coach. And I think he came to challenge O'Connell in that, for instance, the accepting the ball to begin the game. Like LaFleur wanted the ball, and we won that coin toss, and he elected to receive. When was the last time you've seen a coach do that? But that's a coach coming out saying, I'm going to put up points, catch me if you can. Like, and it was a definite statement. I thought LaFleur was full of statements in this one, but like from the jump, he was putting Kevin O'Connell in his place. That was cool to see.
And
I like that too.
not to mention, Corey Ballantyne absolutely destroyed Jefferson. I mean, he was all over that guy. He was killing it in that position.
He had more catches at the at the midway of the second quarter. He had as many catches from Vikings quarterbacks as Jefferson did.
Right.
It was like they didn't have a completed pass until like the 12th minute in the second quarter. But Ballantyne had that shortly thereafter. He had
Right.
that pick,
sweet
that
pick.
ball went in the air. Yep.
Yep,
Hell yeah.
heads up play. And for Jefferson, the guy went 5 catches for 59 yards, but 2 of those catches came like in the late second half, kind of like garbage time, where I felt the same way. I'm like, where is this guy? And he was quoted earlier in the week too, talking about like, doesn't matter what quarterback is behind, like we're gonna eat him up no matter who it is. It's like, you goddamn disappeared, my friend. Disappeared.
Plus, I love when we get to do whatever rivals team we're playing's like dance or whatever their thing is. So getting to watch Ballantyne do the gritty made me feel really good. That made me feel really good. I got up and did a little bit myself. But as you know, I sing like an angel and dance like the devil, so it's no surprise there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there was some monumental, and I want to go back to something Mayu said before about the Minnesota defense being no joke, which, yeah, you're right. I mean, just look at the season they've been having. It's been weird to watch them kind of fall to where they have in the last few weeks to end up being tied with them. But like, were they? Like, we were stomping all over these guys. We had pressure on them all day. And like you said, Ty, when we started, not only did one quarterback play like garbage in the first half, the second one at the end was just, we were all over this guy. We were on this guy like white on rice in a paper plate in a snowstorm. Like, he could not get away. And you could just see like the color leave his face towards the end.
Yeah.
And it's also a real punchable face too, Ty. It's like one of those things. I'm sure he's a nice guy. He's probably got a family and, goes to church. But I just want to punch that face when I see it.
He's got helmet face. Some of these guys in the NFL, they take their helmets off and you're like, that's what you look like? Because when they have the helmet on and all you can see is like this, they're just like, they sometimes look like fish heads, man. It's weird.
Well put.
Yeah, no, Ballantyne stepped up. We had some guys that like we've been counting on that stepped up and played well, but we also had some guys that came out of nowhere, like Bo Melton, who just made himself like a very valuable player to the Packers. It's like that Christian Watson going down, and we got more out of Bo Melton, his replacement, last game than I feel like we got out of Christian Watson all season. What are those PFFs on Bo Melton there, Mayhew?
Oh man, I would
Is he top 5? I mean, he had
love to tell you. Yeah, our Bo Melton top 5 coming in at number 3 with an 89.5. But I think what's kind of critical here to understand is just consider this as they write. Melton has had 11 catches over the last 3 weeks. And out of those 11 catches, he's produced 9 first downs and 1 touchdown, including 5 conversions on third down. So what are we talking here? A guy that came out of nowhere. Who do you go to on third down is like who you trust and who's getting open. And this guy is doing both. And I don't know how he quickly developed that relationship with both the coach and the quarterback. But I think what also is kind of important, and Tyson touched on this like a couple weeks ago, where Christian Watson goes down, we feel like we don't have that deep threat, like that speed was lost. We got it back now, boys.
So, right.
4.3, 4.40. This guy just seems like no one's even watching him as he gets open. Like he was like 10 yards
wide open in the middle of the field constantly.
Multiple times.
He was wide open in the end zone in the third quarter. Yeah.
So Melton has only played 94 snaps, and he's only run 52 routes in 2023, but it's clear that they trust him in the big spots. And I just think it's a cherry on the top of a receiving core that I was kind of shredding early on in the year a little bit, especially like their coach. Man, they've shut me up. It's come together here like in a big way where I don't see guys out of place like I used to. Guys like the drops have been limited. Jordan's hitting guys in stride. There just seems to be a ton of chemistry that it's shocking. Oh, yeah, that's a great example. of
I mean, in the shotgun, they bring the blitz. 3 seconds, boom, that ball is up, and there is nobody within almost 5 to 10 yards of him, and he's still fighting to stay inside.
Dude, and Jordan just has to throw to a spot on that one. So that's the wherewithal of like Jordan is understanding where he needs to be, receiver being in the right area. And I mean, the only blip that Bo had was that they were like deep in the red zone. It was like was it fourth down?
and
I want to say.
Yeah,
it was 4th and 1, and they
I
were
was really upset
on.
about that.
We had a 10-0 lead. That was an interesting call from LaFleur.
From LaFleur, I was like, don't do this shit again.
Yeah, I'm yelling, take the point. At first,
just reach with the ball.
At first, I'm yelling, take the points, because I'm thinking these Vikings aren't going to score 2 touchdowns, and you could beat them with 3 more field goals, and that'd be all it takes. But now that I'm looking at the psychology of LaFleur, I'm really starting to understand that call a little more. Anyway, Mayhew, didn't mean to interrupt you on that. I just really interesting moment in the game. But he does. He goes Love 4th and 1. He's looking for his guy Bo.
Yeah, dude. And I think the crowd I was with was like a little bit torn, and it's so tough. Like you said, 4th and 1, super aggressive. Matt LaFleur, though, but when you call the play where it's like it's open, it's just about execution, and then it falls apart, everybody's like, Matt, what are you doing? It's like, motherfucker, if he throws that guy in line, that's a touchdown easily. But at the same point, Bo needs to catch that ball. That's an NFL catch. Is it difficult? Kind of, but but again, that's like the one blemish on this guy's record.
You could literally QB sneak that thing for a yard, or do an end around, or do a quick out to anybody that we had out there just to get a first.
Well, I think
for me, it comes like, if it's coming down to glory when it comes to how young this team is, I'm all about it. And when it happens, I'm never going to turn it down. But at the same time, good, smart football is sometimes smart. You know what I mean? Just give me the first down and then give me the 7 points.
Yeah, and I think
that's something that killed them in the long run, is they were not converting on their 3rds and 4ths, and they were also just getting stuck to having to just get a field goal in the entire first half of the game.
Yeah, no doubt. And that may have been a factor later on when Love did decide in the red zone to just tuck it and run. Mm-hmm. And he barely broke the plane and the ball came out, but that was definitely a touchdown.
Oh man.
And I think it was because they had missed that 4th and 1 that he was like, no, I'm just going to run this thing. And he runs with some courage.
So good this week. Oh my God. Yeah, and I couldn't tell though if it was because the Vikings just didn't show up to play, if the line for us our offensive line decided to show up and play, or if he's just that good. I don't know. I can't tell yet. And I'm curious to see what you guys think, because I'm worried that it's with this next game that's coming up, that it's just we played a bad team on a bad day.
All of the above on that one. I think the O-line, Mayhew was right to highlight that it's that they played their best game of the season. No penalties. I mean, just clean, and they owned them, and they dealt with 25 blitzes. Yeah, it was, and Love still had that great night. That's definitely a factor. Love is that good. Love is underrated, like you wouldn't believe. You know who's 3rd right now in touchdown passes in the NFL? Jordan Love with 30.
That's
Dak
crazy.
Prescott has 32. Brock Purdy has 31. Jordan Love is 3rd with 30 touchdowns. That's better than Tua, Baker, Goff, Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy, look past him at your own expense, and then he can do that, and then he can tuck the ball and run when he has to too.
I mean, look at that.
We are dealing with a special player, and the Vikings were just that bad that night. And that happens too.
I think the word courage you said was like the perfect definition of that right there. I mean, understanding where you are, putting your hand down just to extend like far enough, having like the wherewithal for that. Mm-hmm. That's like
your body on the line.
It's just courage. Yeah. He could have raced to the pylon, but did he? No, he tucked his shoulder and said, I can take this linebacker.
Yep. Number 3 in touchdowns. Did y'all know since week 12, motherfucker's number 1 in quarterback rating as well? Yeah. Nobody's talking about this stuff, or at least
he's 10th. He's 10th in yards with 3,800 yards. If he gets 182 yards against the Bears, he's got 4,000 yard season. I don't know.
Not to mention, he has the highest NFL rating across the board as far as passer rating, touchdowns, and yards, better than any rookie quarterback for the Bears in their entire history. and I am going to be honest here, and shame me if you have to. Might even put a boo track here. I actually did not get to watch this game on New Year's. I didn't get to watch it until like a day and a half later.
Sometimes that's what it takes. Yeah.
And it was a real tough New Year's for me, let me tell you. But I could not believe how everybody just kind of either seemed to just get better, if Joe Barry's defense just figured it out, or again, was it just we were playing against a good team on a bad day? I don't know.
I think it's a formula. Couple things. So one, what you're saying, I think you jump out to an early lead on teams, and I think that blueprint for this Packers team, we can beat almost anybody. Kansas City Chiefs, Detroit Lions, Joe Barry's defense is built for that. It's like having like a lead, and it's like, hey, I'm not going to give up the big play. It's going to be hard to watch at times. Maybe we get a turnover or two, and all of a sudden it's like we're knocking down these giants that we didn't think we were capable of. Now this team gets behind, game like the Buccaneers, where we're trying to do like a shootout, maybe not built for that same kind of success, you know. Yeah. Also, the footwork of Jordan Love, I think it's great that you touched on that, because Tyson was right a couple weeks ago. There's like moments in the short stuff where his footwork is leading to inaccuracies. You know what I mean? That it's like, hey, you got to clean it up. But then you watch all of his highlights. None of it is structurally fucking sound. It doesn't make sense. The commentators will freeze his like both feet off the ground, throwing sidearm, but his accuracy or his comfortableness within that motion is creating success. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Bust out the fucking thesaurus. But a little bit more on J-Lo here. We PFF had him 90.8 rating, credited with 4 big-time throws, 0 turnover-worthy plays, completed 9 of 11 passes for 2 touchdowns under pressure. Adjusted completion percentage was 81.3. He earned an elite grade on throws off of play action and throws over 20 yards in the air. And I think, gentlemen, that's been one of the bigger changes he's made throughout the past 5 to 6 weeks is the deep ball isn't perfect, but you can't all look at yourselves and not say it's gotten significantly better.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, absolutely has. And he's spreading it out. And he's going through progressions. He has done some things to improve throughout the season. That hitting a lot we saw in the Vikings, his success came from finding the second read, finding the third read. We know he's mobile in the pocket and can move around and make that happen. And he did. And he didn't key on any one guy. He just took what was available, and there was seemingly a guy open on a lot of the plays. Also, LaFleur did simplify. We saw a lot of out routes. We saw a lot of slants. It wasn't too showy, you know? And so when you're running kind of more comfortable, he can throw the ball further with that confidence because he's not banking on so many factors falling into place.
Absolutely. You hit on a ton of PFF stuff here, buddy. Like you said, just making smart decisions. He didn't take a sack the entire game, and there was opportunities for him to, but throwing the ball away when he needs to, scrambling properly, not walking into sacks, not, you know, and he also rushed for a score. Overall grade was the second highest of the season. Only one higher was against the Chiefs. I think
what a time to show up. What a time to show up. And it scares me, man. It scares me to think that we could be good, because the playoffs are so close, and that's not even the thing I'm worried about. The thing I'm worried about is getting to the playoffs and just looking like garbage. I mean, getting there is the number one objective, because it'll just add confidence to this like, I don't know if burgeoning is the word, but this young this is burgeon. What's the word I'm looking for?
Burgeoning?
I believe the word you're looking for, Chaz, is burgeoning.
Is it burgeoning? I can't. The point is this young team, this flower of a team. I lost my train of thought after we did the whole burgeoning thing, but if we make it to the playoffs, it'll just add fuel to the flame that this team is something to look forward to next year, even if we don't make it very far, I guess is the point I'm trying to say. And somebody look up burgeoning. I'll do it now.
Please do. Please do. Of course, there's always the other side.
Oh my God, I got it. Burgeoning. 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 Beginning to grow or increase rapidly. Flourishing.
Well, this team certainly is flourishing.
Is it La Flourishing? Come on, that's pretty good.
That should definitely be the name of the episode. Yeah,
La
that's
Flourishing.
good. That's good. All
I'll
right.
write that down. There's somebody we haven't talked about yet, and I really want to. Let's give some more stats. There, A-Rod.
No, I'm good. Keep going.
Dude, Reed. Coming out like he was fucking 20 years old somehow with the freshest robot legs I've ever seen. I don't know what smelling salts he's taking, but the rest of the team needs to fucking start taking them too. This guy looked like Sonic the fucking Hedgehog in green and gold. It was amazing. Holy shit. That first dime pass touchdown that he had was fucking gorgeous.
Our guy had 89 total receiving yards, 43 yards after the catch with 2 touchdowns. But gentlemen, that was on 15 total routes run. Being like, this guy's basically like a jackpot. Just fucking pull it, let it ring. Oh, the first one is the best too. Oh my God.
Just
That's
down
the
the
most-
seam.
Even the
What is
throw
that?
looks real awkward. Look at Jordan release this ball. Doesn't make any sense. Like a little over the
I mean,
In
it's a
stride.
dime. It's a dime.
Gentlemen, of all the wide receivers, running backs that we have, for whatever reason, their chemistry as far as hitting him in stride is the
Mhm.
strongest, like easily.
Yes.
Whereas like someone like Aaron Jones, I feel like he really has a hard time throwing to him. But despite all that, Jaden Reed comes in at number 1 PFF ranking with a 92.7. Already ran through like a bunch of his stats, but my favorite part is that he continues to wear that mouth guard outside of his helmet. Never fucking puts it in his mouth.
Never.
Just
Never
dangling,
wears-
swinging around as he runs.
It's how you can tell
Like
where
what?
he's at.
I guess, dude. Oh, that's a better view.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite because if you look at the angle from right here, okay, you can see he is right. You can see my mouse. He is way over here on the outside of the hash marks, man, and he is just giving him full trust with this just nickel.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Dude, and I think those
Because
views of like
seeing those kinds of passes versus when he is passing to even who's hurt right now, Christian Watson, it wasn't behind him. It feels like 90% of the throws Christian Watson's getting, he's having to come back for because he's almost too fast or because for some reason Love just wasn't able to air it out. And that just hasn't been the case.
dude, and that ball was like 45 yards in the air, I want to say.
Yeah.
The protection looked incredible, but I love that point of view because it shows you like when a quarterback needs to make a decision, that play is not unfolded. He's throwing towards a window, trusting his receiver. This game is it's beautiful when it runs properly, you know, and that was a perfect example of it.
Do you have any other numbers for him, by the way, from that game?
For Jaden, I do not. I
right.
do not.
We talk about Aaron Jones.
We probably should, but Ty's had a crush on this guy since day one, and I don't want to steal his thunder. Ty,
I get it.
Oh my God, I love Aaron Jones. How do I begin? No, tonight was see that game was just perfect Aaron Jones running. The offensive line did a really nice job. First off, they let Aaron Jones do the thing he loves to do the most, which is run between the tackle and the guard. And he is the first one there, and he is there at full speed. And it was like a 12-yard minimum on Aaron Jones carries. He was rushing for first downs on first down regularly. I mean, it was I don't have we have his yards per carry.
Yards per carry was he was averaging 6 throughout the night, 20 total attempts for 120.
Yeah, just throwing off one big run after another. He looked good in protection. He was part of that. I mean, here's the thing. You've got a speed back who's willing to throw a chip block on these blitzing linebackers. He was critical in so many ways, but I think the thing that just makes him invaluable is that being that leader, that hype man, that energy guy, dusted off first down. And man, I just love when he's on the field. There's just so much he does for this team that aren't in the numbers. And the numbers are good, but I think he provides a level of security for Jordan Love too, knowing that he's got that outlet there. He might not always hit him, but that Jones is available, and that's awesome.
Oh, I
Guys,
totally agree.
Take a look at this run real quick. Okay, we are sitting at what, the 9-yard line, right? Check this out. Watch how many guys he shirks off, and it takes 3 defenders to get him down. I mean, it is just textbook. This is probably my favorite run of the season. That's 2, that's 3, 4, 5, and then the 6th guy just to kind of help at the ground. That was some Quadzilla shit.
Oh yeah, as you pull that up, Chaz, he had 4 runs over 10 yards, 5 forced missed tackles, and 77 yards after contact for what is not. This is not a large back. You know what I mean? This guy is like speed, but Tides, exactly as you said, we've been saying it all year. We are a completely different offense with him on the field. It's like a potential home run every time. There's more dynamic there. The offensive line early on, like you were saying, dude, some of the holes he had to run through too. I think he was shocked, and I'm like, oh, so we're doing this. But I don't want to skip over our second guy, A.J. Dillon, boys. He rounds out the top 5 with a 78.6, and all it says is Dillon forced 3 missed tackles. But PFF considers that a fucking great day. So
Wow.
for the first time all year, both running backs made the top 5. Just want to put that out there.
That's pretty impressive.
Dang,
It's a fun little statistic.
Fun stats.
Fun stats. I got to remember that. I'm going to get sued for doing that. Damn. Hey, for all of you guys out there not sharing, liking, and subscribing, y'all need to get on this shit, okay? I know there's only like maybe one. I mean, every game is a Super Bowl for us from here on out, baby. So I want to see some fucking shares, some likes, and some subscribes. Oh, man.
Well, we focused on one side of the ball quite a bit here. It turns out there's 2 sides to every game here. You know, the defense. What can we say here? 10 points held them to.
They've sucked most of the year. They've sucked most.
Yeah.
Of the year.
Well, all right. Let's qualify that 10 points that this defense supposedly gave up, because I think the defense gave up 3 points and Samari Toure gave up a touchdown. That muffed punt, when you start on the 6-yard line, it showed up 10 points on the scoreboard, but I don't even think the defense gave up that many because of the starting position. And they had good starting position. End of the second quarter, they started on the 40, 45 a couple times, and it was just like, but Quay with a drive-ending sack, and then Preston Smith with that strip sack. The linebackers were harassing, and they knew they had an uncomfortable quarterback back there. First half, second half, different guys, but either one of them was going to be terrified of what was coming at them. And they did. They just brought Rashawn Gary, and Kenny Clark got a big-time sack early on, and they were just put on notice. And that offensive line was not ready for what was schemed up. And the Packers linebackers, I mean, to the point where we had so many guys sacking them that McDuffie got that concussion because it was 3 guys trying to tackle the quarterback all at once. And then that was a big loss, I think, on defense. And especially when you see his replacement, Wilson, who was, I was kind of hoping to see Jonathan Owens take that spot, because I think he would have handled it better than Wilson. Wilson looked outclassed, but that was a big time loss. But it didn't show. It just, the linebackers just made that work, I think.
Yeah, McDuffie, he's grown on me like in an incredible way. The guy, I don't know if he's ever going to be elite, but he's like the Rudy of the team, Chaz, if I can. And his head was in every play. He actually came in at number 2 as far as PFF rankings. It looks like he delivered a sack, 1 pass breakup, and 1 stop over just 15 snaps before unfortunately leaving with the injury. And then, as Ty alluded to, Eric Wilson coming in at number 3 at the bottom of the defense. Look, guy gets thrown into game action. He's clearly not our number 1 go-to, but as far as what we're going to do for the next couple of weeks, I'm hoping we can get McDuffie back, or we have somebody else to replace him, because it's a position in bad need of some upgrade in talent. Coming in at number 1, boys, though, is Preston Smith, who I feel like we just have not talked about enough this year, because he has a weird way of quietly just getting it done. You know what I mean? Not flashy per se, but he had 4 pressures, 1 sack, the forced fumble that you already talked about, and that was over just 20 pass rushing snaps, which is pretty incredible, honestly. I thought he was a huge factor in the game. Rashawn Gary had 8 total pressures. He's also in the top 5. But can we talk about him just like a little bit? Like, look,
That's the thing I was going to say. I thought I wanted to see him a little more. I was hoping for a little bit more out of him in recent weeks. And it seems like, because after that Detroit game where he was just on fire, it seems like he kind of fell off a little bit. There was a penalty, I think, or two that would kind of maybe like either he shirked his confidence a little bit. But other than that, like, I've been wanting to see more of Scary Gary.
he's got to show up in some form of the stat sheet. He's all about the sacks. That's great. Those have been almost non-existent, but I thought his run defense this game, I thought was actually more sound. He kind of held the edge more than I've seen all year. Again, their run game is not exactly elite. Our next opponent will be a much bigger test, but yeah, we need him to start showing up in a big way if we want to make any kind of push, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I got a question. We're on defense here. Our boy, this one's going out to T-Bone because I'm just like I'm kind of curious here. I've seen this team play heavy zone and look just out of place and confused. And we clamor for it. The next week, I see them play what I think is like much more aggressive man. Obviously, they're going to like intertwine a little bit. And I'm wondering, Tyson, is Joe Barry just not have the pieces on the field? Is it the scheme that he's running that just fucking sucks? Or is it like this is just the NFL and it's kind of like a roller coaster of a league? Because, man, we hold people to 10 one week. We give up like 30 to Bryce Young the next. Like, I don't know what to think anymore. You got any clarity for me?
Well, hi, guys. Thanks
Welcome.
for having me. Thank you. Packers Nation, I appreciate you as well. Mayhew, thank you for asking me that complicated question. And as you know, I'll have a long answer. So
Sure.
the players that we have on our team have been on our team for a long time on defense. Some of them. They were the solidifying part of this young nucleus that was supposed to carry over some kind of continuity from previous years' success. As it's turned out, the continuity of those players and the coaches that kind of came with the job for Matt, in my opinion, those voices have gotten stale. I don't believe that I think that the problem, and I'm reading between the tea leaves here on everything that Matt's saying, it lies in the position coaches on defense. And some of them have been here for too long, quite frankly. And Joe Barry didn't select them, and Matt LaFleur didn't select them, and they don't have a track record of success. And the only reason they're here is because they were part of the deal. If you want to be head coach here, we want to keep these guys. And Matt is a path of least resistance leader, in my opinion. So I think that instead of getting rid of some guys that he had problems with, he brought in a guy he trusts and a guy he knows and a guy that thinks he's smart as a goddamn whip. And that's Joe Barry. And Joe Barry and Matt, I'm going to spend a lot of time together.
Sorry.
Yeah, and chat it up. So I just think that there's a lot of issues in the scheme, but Joe Barry is working with Matt and coming and changing different stuff. In this last game, guys, the game before this too, it was hard for me to hate Joe Barry because if you take away the fourth quarter, I'm pretty impressed with what Joe Barry put out there in terms of what I'm asking for. I'm asking for lots of blitzing and man coverage. Well, he did that. And we missed tackles occasionally and gave up big plays, but we also tackled really well at times and it looked really good. So I guess the long and short is that it's a complicated issue that firing the guy under the boss doesn't fix. Because the people underneath him have probably created a mutiny situation long ago. And now you have a bunch of leaders on the defensive side that are saying, fuck this coach, fuck this defensive coordinator, listen to these fans. I can't win out here, blah, 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 blah. You get Jair talking, they make an example of him. I think he just yanked the chain, quite frankly. And now This is the biggest week of the year, boys, and I can't believe I'm saying it, but going into this game, this is the biggest test we're gonna have all year. Ironically, it's the Bears.
Called it.
All right. To the rest of the crew here, just real quick. Let's say we take care of business next week. I'm not trying to get ahead. I'm just trying to like build
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We get into the playoffs. Maybe we win one game. Okay. Does Joe Barry keep his job next year, in your opinion? Ty, start with you.
All right, here's my thing on Joe Barry.
Oh boy.
It was a there was a lot of disappointment there in the past. I have a history with Joe Barry, and most of it is me just being perplexed and disappointed. But man, he has grown on me this year to the point where that last game, yeah, there were some good calls. He really did scheme up. I mean, it was 23-3 or something coming out of the half, and they had a 4th down, and Joe Barry brought exactly the right amount of blitzers to not give up that touchdown and to keep it 23-3 and keep it a blowout. I just think some of my favorite calls he's made all year was this last game. I've never hated Joe Barry as much as I hated Dom Capers. I don't know if that's a good measurement, but I really could not stand Dom Capers, and I've never even been close to that territory. With as frustrated as I've been with Joe Barry, I've never been that mad at him. So I think Joe Barry's like, he's growing on me. And I don't think that, look, if he's Matt's choice and that's what Matt needs, I'm willing to give LaFleur his stats. I don't think Joe Barry's got to go. I just don't. I think that he's had it rough with a banged up secondary and a rotating cast of characters. Guys he was expecting to count on this year, like Devondre Campbell, we've discussed, has been a no-show, you know, and he's just adapted. He's just evolved, and I think, yeah, seeing the different scheme and the fact that he can draw up different game plans for different opponents and exploit their weaknesses. I think Joe Barry going forward is a perfectly adequate defensive coordinator.
Okay.
Not
Chaz,
like that.
same question to you.
Nope. Fired. Get it out.
There we go. Yeah, I kind of touched on what these guys said and Tyson earlier, as like Matt did come out and talk about how the Carolina game he thought was more communication. Like players are coming in and the defense just couldn't get on the same page. He was defending them, liked what he saw. I fucking fire him immediately and I clean house, like Tyson is saying. And it's not that Joe maybe isn't capable, or maybe there's some decent coaches on that staff. I need a new voice. I'm looking at this team offensively. I feel really good about the future. We need to bring the two sides together to be really competitive going forward. Tyson, same question to you. Three words or less.
It's not possible. I'd say there's that the pendulum. Ty, I think it's interesting you bring up Joe Barry, or you bring up Dom Capers, because Joe Barry is like a watered down version. The Nick Fangio team of coaches is just a watered down version of that coach. In fact, that's why Vic Fangio wouldn't work for us, is because we did fire Dom Capers and he's like, I don't want to work for you guys. Fuck you. So we have been trying to reboot 2010 every year defensively and have not had the same results as we did that one magical year. I don't think we've changed from a cerebral, calm Dom Capers to a wild and crazy, screamy, abusive Mike Pettin. The pendulum swung way over that direction, and then it swung back to a very boring Joe Barry. Well, boys, guess what happens next? Something interesting with an asshole. And I think that we have tried as much as we can. That sounds weird. But
It's kind of like New Year's.
I was like,
something interesting with an asshole. No, but really,
Say
it
more.
is going to be it's gonna need to be a bigger change. You can't just tweak it, tighten down the screws, and be like, all right, this is ready to go another 5-6 years. You know, we need a full on reboot, new scheme, new face. I think they are gonna fire Joe Barry, and I am for that plan. I think he will be the last defensive coach fired. I don't think he'll be the first. I think that Matt's gonna make a statement and fire a bunch of backstabbers first. And then he's going to have to fire his friend to save his job. And then he's going to hire someone who's not a threat but also that energetic plug that I'm asking for, that asshole we've been waiting for. And
Can we just
we'll
get the Mike McDaniel of defensive coordinators, please?
Yeah, that's not a thing. That's an offensive coach. They're level-headed and cool and like wear nice fucking shoes and stuff. And like the
That's what I want
defensive
for us.
coordinators wear like waiter boots and like they haven't got a new shirt since 1981. And if they're any good, they got a major drinking problem and they're loud and brain damaged. Okay, because they're ex-players. God damn it, that's what's missing on this coaching staff is the presence of former NFL success. And that is what the league's trend is going. I would be shocked if our new defensive coordinator is not a former player whose name you know.
Ooh, I like that take.
Awesome.
I like that
Harris,
take.
like now Harris.
I
don't like that
take.
take. I don't like that take.
He's not a coordinator. He's a positions coach, but I would love to have him on our staff.
With that, we'll be right back. Pow!
Oh, what a beautiful day. Pretty woman walking down the street. Pretty woman, the kind I like to meet. Pretty woman, I don't believe you. You're not the truth. I said, whoa, pretty woman.
Welcome back to 2D and a C. We're going to hand it over to the Porcelain Prince real quick for What Grinds You Gears.
Yes, thank you. It's always good to have a platform to just release the rage, whether it's rational or not. I got to talk to you guys about one thing. I think everybody's going to agree with me here, is that let's talk about autocorrect on our phones just for like one brief second. Okay. How many goddamn times has this thing, you're just trying to, you know what I mean? Sent you in the wrong fucking way. You're like recorrecting it. Like your friends are like, what are you talking about? And this is 99.9% of the time. Now, if I need to spell effervescent and I can't quite pick it up, yeah, spell check. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But it all comes back to, I think it's just the Chinese fucking with all of us, really. You know what I mean?
Actually, that would be the Chinese ducking with all of you.
Oh my gosh. Cut that.
No, because it doesn't allow you to say whenever you put fuck, it always
ducking. I get it. I thought you were
Yeah. It's an autocorrect joke.
It's an autocorrect joke.
get
It's
it.
not a racist joke.
I thought you were using an R thing. I get
We're
it. Okay.
definitely keeping that in.
You should. That was good. Just caught me off guard. Talking. All right. The next thing is fucking green peppers. Okay? Can I just get this off my chest right away? I'm going to the store. I'm just looking for some red peppers, some other things. It's taco night, whatever. They're sold out of every other color but green. What is the fucking point of this pepper? You guys tell me. It tastes like shit. You roast it, it tastes even worse. A poblano, all day. Give me a poblano all day. All they did was just not let this thing grow a little bit longer and turn into something beautiful, like a red or a yellow or a orange pepper. A lot of people out there probably don't know that. They're like, oh, they're growing green peppers. No, they're fucking underripened pieces of shit. I hate them. And it needs to just leave the grocery store entirely, in my opinion.
It's a hot take.
That was a very hot take. Mine is how
Okay.
hot
Too much?
green
Just too
peppers
much.
are. No, it's good.
I fucking hate them. They're horrible. Okay. Anyway, back to you, Chaz.
You got time to hate green peppers.
I know, right? I never would have thought
Busy
that was going
guy.
to be the next thing.
I didn't see that one coming, I'll be honest.
Also, didn't know that peppers are
he's
just
a chef,
peppers,
folks.
and if you leave them on long enough, they change colors.
Guys, can we talk? Do you guys eat green peppers and you're like, yeah. that's satisfying. Yeah.
Well, I-
In
no, I
certain
just-
recipes, it definitely makes the flavor. Certain
What are you
things.
talking about? It tastes like shit. Unless you're eating them raw and it's like a color thing for you. Okay, but
My
Mel
my
buys
mom
that
hates
stupid
green
pack.
peppers, so I didn't know what a green pepper was until I was in my 30s.
it sounds like a brilliant
my
woman.
20s.
Yeah,
There's
my
no-
wife-
Brilliant woman.
Right.
My wife's allergic to them, which means
Yeah.
anything with the word pepper in it, she won't eat. So,
And-
but I don't believe it because I've snuck
My
them in
girl-
there, and she's fine.
She buys those packets of one orange, one red, and one green one. And
Oh, yeah.
I think in the almost 6 years of us being together, she's never cooked one. They sit in that bag and they get rotten every single time. And
Throw
then
'em
I see her.
right all over.
I do throw
Throw it
away
away.
my bell
Right,
peppers too.
or she go, I have to run to the grocery store and she'll be like, can you grab peppers? I'm like, bitch, look in the goddamn fridge. I don't say bitch, by the way, but
Yeah.
Those are
I said-
fuzzy ones. No, that's the other thing about bell peppers. They last.
I say it's
They have the
bitch.
shelf life of like half an avocado.
Mhm.
Like they go bad, they go weird, moldy so fast.
She buys them
Jim-
though. She buys them every week, and I'm like, well,
You ever
If they
cut
were
one
on-
open? You ever cut one in half and it's just like that core of like white mold? No, no, it happens with bell
I used to have to
peppers.
prep a lot of
happened.
La
Green pepper? Oh,
Brioche
yeah.
back in the day,
Oh, yeah.
and so
It's
I
that
had to
mold
give up.
eats
I had to
that
give up
seed
peppers
pod.
for a while after that. That really.
I'm saying, Piggly Wiggly's got a pallet of green peppers going right now, and no other peppers. It sounds like everybody else in the world is wising up, besides maybe Tyson and Chaz. But Ty, we'll get people there. We'll get them there.
I will say
They
now
know
that I
being
have
chili-
discovered the green pepper, stuffed peppers is an excellent meal, folks.
Yeah.
Don't
And then also
overlook
I
the
do have-
stuffed pepper.
Fucking God.
I also like I
thing-
also like a no bean chili, and if you use the bell pepper, like it adds something to it. You're gonna put a gumbo, you need some a little bell pepper in there. You know, you're not bitter.
Jambalaya, you got to put a
I'm
little
not saying I
pepper.
want to just eat bell pepper, green pepper.
Chaz,
all day.
we got to
It has
extend
to
this.
be.
Grind your gears, because
Well, I'm just saying.
It's a hot debate.
Tyson's
I
not
think-
wrong though. Like the
No,
Cajun
Tyson makes a
trio,
good
in
point.
theory,
Yeah.
it's got the
About
green
the-
pepper. I'm saying
It's
replace
called-
the poblano with something that
No,
tastes
dude.
good.
I
It's
agree.
called-
I agree.
it's
Mayhew. I love
called-
poblanos. God damn it! I fucking love them, Mayhew.
It's called the Holy
right.
Trinity, dude.
You want me back.
It's called the Holy Trinity, dude. Okay. And here's the thing: you can sub out the fucking green peppers for poblanos because you're already going to get some bitterness if you don't wash your celery. So if we're only talking bitterness, don't wash your celery and toss it in there and put some poblanos. Yes, I agree with that. But otherwise,
They cover
God,
all
this
that
is
shit
getting-
up with
this is getting-
cream and spices anyway down south. So like, let's get real here. You
Yeah,
know?
that's true.
Oh, you can really taste that green pepper coming through on the gumbo. Yeah. Oh, holy no.
And that's the
I think we
thing.
should move
If-
on. I think we-
Yeah, probably. You know what? That's a
Lot
hot
of
take
pepper
for everybody
talk today.
here.
A lot of pepper
um,
talk. 20 minutes on
Controversial.
pepper.
I can't wait to read the comments bar after this pod. This is gonna
Stop talking about peppers.
Oh yeah, the tweets are already coming in here. Porcelain
guys,
Prince,
there
will
was
you
a
shut the
point-
fuck up and move on, please. Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
got to tell you, grinds my gears. There was a point in time where, like, I just happened to be in the commute range where I was hearing PFT, the pro football talk with Mike Florio and that slurring idiot Chris Sims, and they were both talking about bird attacks, like every time I was in the car. And I was like, why the fuck are we talking to these rich guys that are like, have this problem with hawks going after their stupid little dogs or their cats or whatever? And then you just like, oh, it's a dangerous bird, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, that's so stupid. The next day, they're also talking about hawks again. I'm like, this is fucking dumb. By the third day, I wrote a scathing email that he didn't even read about why in the fuck are you a lawyer wasting my time talking about fucking birds? Just give me the dirt. Give me your shit. I don't care about your rich property problems. They didn't get back.
I don't
No
know. man. Have you ever seen
reply.
a real goose attack? It's pretty vicious.
I don't care about birds.
Watch out for those Canada gooses. And that's some hot takes with 2D and a C on what grinds your gears. We'll be back.
Yeah. We talking Green Bay Packers football.
Here to speak about the Bears as well, everybody, is our special guest this week. For the first time on this season, my father, that's right, the Ingram, paterfamilias, Robert Buddy Ingram. 2D and a C, give it up for him. Give it up.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having me. It's good to be back. Really appreciate it. I've been enjoying the pod, man. You guys are awesome. I tell you,
Aw.
my wife gets a little mad when I'm watching it at night with the headphones on, and all of a sudden I'm busting out laughing, waking her up.
We break
You
up a
guys
lot
have
of
killed me
marriages
this-
doing that. Look out.
You guys have killed me this year. Good job.
Buddy, welcome back. Good to see you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming in clutch for us.
He's
You
got,
bet.
he's got,
Not a
he's got
problem.
the glasses on.
We missed
Chaz
you guys
says you're
last
coming
week.
li-
Oh,
Chaz says you're coming live from the heated shelter, that you're in the men's
Big-
shelter right now. Is that right?
that's right. That's right.
You Ingrams, nobody
The
homeless is
abandoned
like you
house
guys. You guys are the
next
best. You guys are the best at it. I'm telling you, you learn from the best, Chaz. You learn from the best right there.
That's right.
That's right.
You guys got it going on.
Thank you, buddy. It's great to have you.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, let's.
I got to
Oh,
start
go
off
ahead.
by saying,
Yeah.
the Bears still suck, but the Bears are tough, no doubt about that right
Told
now,
you.
and they're coming on, without a doubt. So let's go get them. We got to go get them. That Lions game last year, I was there, and then fans before the game were louder than the Packer fans. It was crazy. I couldn't figure out what was going on. It was nuts. And the stadium was full of them. But I put that on Rodgers and LaFleur.
Yeah.
I think that game goes to those guys. But bring them on.
Yeah,
Bring on the Bears.
So
They
can't
do
look
have a
past
real
them.
strong defense. What'd you say, Chaz?
Well, I was going to say that's what we want. That's what I want to know, man. What do we need to do? Buddy, from your words, what is the plan for the Bears that we need to do?
Joe
We need to
Barry.
Oh boy.
We got
Elaborate.
We got to have some defense, man. We got it. They showed up last week, though. They showed up against the Lions. It was a good plan. I got to give them credit this time. If we could play a game like that again, Nixon's out there getting those sacks. We didn't even have Jair Alexander.
You didn't need him.
Everybody thought, "What are you doing going in there?" Without Jair Alexander. But
I guess we wanted to.
man, we got some good we got some good sacks. We got a couple of we got one pick, I think, right?
Two
picks. Valentine got one. Who got the other one?
I think you're thinking of
Nixon.
the Nixon out of bounds interception
that's what it was.
because he caught
That's what
that.
it was.
Yeah. It was a little confusing.
But we got to show up. We got to show up on defense just like we did last week. Our team, when Aaron Jones is there, they may have the fifth best running defense, but when Aaron Jones shows up, man, these guys, we're a
Electric.
different team. It's unbelievable.
Guys, I don't
Look
believe
at
that
those
we're going
runs
to be
he
able
pulled
to.
off.
I don't
Go
think
ahead,
we're going to be
Tyson.
able to make it out of this game alive if we don't. I lost my train of thought. Forget it. Cut it.
It's okay. I think also, buddy, just keep in mind, I think we're dealing with just a little bit of a delay on you, just a tiny bit, but
So
we'll work around it.
okay, I mean,
Okay, I remember now. Coming back. Guys, I think that we don't want Jair because we need our corners to tackle. You know what? If you think Khalil Herbert is going to come at Jair man on man and not fucking run that guy right over, you're crazy. That dude's shoulder is about to fall off. As soon as he goes to tackle someone, it's a business decision every time. Like, how can I hit him hard enough that it looks like I'm trying to do my job, but I don't want to dislocate my shoulder and officially be on IR and be injured as I am. I mean, shoulders are tough. They don't come back easy, and it's not a tackle-friendly injury. So I think there's a lot going on in-house in regards to Jair Alexander, certainly with the suspension. What are your thoughts on that, guys? I'd love to hear going around. Why do you think Jair Alexander was suspended?
Buddy?
immaturity.
Ooh.
Plain and simple.
Yep.
I
And he
think
thought
that's
the
what it was
rules
all
were
about.
What?
he thought the rules were beyond him too. That's the other thing, is he thought LaFleur's rules were just, suggestions. I think that's part of it too. Is LaFleur has to maintain order. Without that, you're a general without troops.
But our corners played great without him.
Mhm.
I was really surprised how well they covered. It was a good game.
Valentine was on fire.
That's because they want to tackle. They want to go after the ball. They're young enough and their bodies are strong and they're stoked to be on that field and they're excited to make that tackle. They are not thinking about their status in the league. It's not about them. And I think that a point when you make a guy the highest paid corner in the league and he's that kind of athlete, you're doing the same thing you did with Rodgers. And I think that you're creating a monster that will be too big for this town, too big for Green Bay. And Buddy said it before about Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, and I'm afraid the insubordination that occurred from Jair Alexander is not limited to the coin toss. I'm convinced they find him throughout the year based off his responses at strange press conferences where he's like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm tired of getting fined for talking to you guys. Like, who's fining you? Not the NFL. So we've already been in-house passive aggressively, pulling rank on this corner and then leaving him to chat with his buddies. And I don't think that has done anything positive for our defensive backfield. And I think addition by subtraction shows you where the problem is. And I'm hoping he can come back and just do his goddamn job, because he's got a big one in DJ Moore. That matchup is the game. He has got to man up big time on this player who understands change of speed, who understands exactly what defense he's playing, understands exactly what this guy's doing. This is what number one cornerbacks do, is they go into big moments like this and take out their team's biggest and most serious deep weapon. And that's their number one wide receiver.
But we also got to get that pressure on the quarterback, without letting him get out of the pocket. Van Ness is looking good. Quay Walker looking good. Preston Smith, sacked. The defense
again,
was
bud? You
putting
broke up
pressure
just a little
on
bit?
last week.
Say that again about
I was
Preston
talking
Smith?
about the Preston Smith got a sack last week. A sack fumble, actually, right? Turnover. So we got the ball. Van Ness got a sack. Quay Walker got a sack. We got to keep that pressure on this guy. But he can run and he can move. So we got to keep him in the pocket. We got to put that pressure on him in the pocket, not let him get outside the pocket, because Fields could go, man. He's got wheels.
What are the chances we're going to get you at Lambeau this weekend, Pops?
Well, I was thinking about going, actually. I got to tell you that. Patricia doesn't want me to go. I hurt my foot, and so I'm having a hard time walking, even around in the house right now.
But you can lean on me. I'll go with you.
I'm still considering.
plus-
Are you gonna be there?
I will if you're going. Let's do it.
Let's
You and
keep
me,
in
buddy.
mind,
Sorry, Chaz.
AJ Dillon's got a broken thumb. He's still going to go. I mean, he might not play, but I think we can get you there, bud. You know what I'm saying?
Might want to stop being a little bitch about it, buddy, and get out there.
You've gone to games with worse. Come on now.
Everyone's hurt in January.
Oh, man. We got to get you there, Pops. We got to get you there.
We'll see how the foot's doing.
Yeah. You just
I
tell
got to
her
be
you're,
able to walk if I'm going.
just tell her you're going to, do Uber driving.
Yeah, that's what I did all last year.
Right.
It worked great.
All right, everybody that's listening, liking, and subscribing, we're going to start a GoFundMe for Buddy to get to this game. Make sure you'll see a little link underneath our video. It's hashtag send Buddy for the win.
Send money, send money.
Send money for Buddy.
It.
I like it.
It's send money for Buddy. Yeah, damn it, beat me by that.
Buddy money for the win.
I do want to ask though, Dad. This is something we always do at the end. I just kind of want to get out of the way now. What is going to be the score prediction this week? And I also want to know who's going to have the first touchdown for the Packers. In your eyes.
First touchdown for the Packers is going to be Jordan Love. I was amazed at his touchdown last week. He gutted it out and took on some blocks and got in there. It could have been a fumble, but I think he's going to score again first.
He put that body on the line.
Reed is just looking beautiful. Some of the routes he's running, man, and his speed.
Whew.
Our rookies, this is a rookie team. Unbelievable. Just I see us scoring like we did last, say 32 to 21.
32-21 with Jordan Love having the first touchdown.
Yeah.
Packers. All right, it's in the books.
We own the Bears.
Oh shit. I like the confidence. Anybody got any other questions for Buddy real quick?
Yeah, do we really think the Bears are going to come out and play us hard? I mean, I know all that's been said of overlook them at your own peril, but there is a good chance that these Bears have already quit on this season at this point. The division rivalry means a lot, but I just don't know if they're going to come out and play us. What do you think, buddy?
I think they're gonna I think they're gonna come out and try to do the same thing the Lions did last year, and they've been on a roll, and they want to make a statement. And at the end of the year statement, I think is what they're going to go for. I think they're going to play us hard.
Well, Dad, I mean, this is their Super Bowl, and Mayhew, I'm going to pass to you right after that. I mean,
Right.
you know what I mean? This is their favorite game of the season. You could not ask for something better than this. I literally planned on this for like months ago, talking to Eric Bears fan. I jinxed this fucking game and said, you know what's going to happen, man? The Bears are going to be doing real. And this one we were doing really shitty. It was around like week 7 or 8 or something. And I was like, oh, and just watch what's going to happen. It's going to come down to we're going to need to beat the Bears, who's the last game of the season, to get into the fucking playoffs. And it'll be like Super Bowl, whatever number we're on. And when I found out this was going to happen, I was like, oh shit. So I don't know where we're going to go from here, but I mean, it's not on me.
I wouldn't look past them. Start thinking about playoffs at this point. I think they're coming on, and they're going to want to put a thumping on us. But I don't see it happening.
What were you going to say,
I
Mayhew?
think this is a championship game for them, guys. This is a bowl game. This is a Tampax Bowl for them. Like, they have to win. This is everything. Their whole season. This is like the college kid that fought through the injuries, and he's not going to play football after this year, and they're leaving it on the field. This team is going to throw their best shit at us. They've been thinking about that week 1 where we ripped their dicks off and made them realize it'll never change, you fucks. Don't you get it? You'll always suck. And that hurt them. And they're going to want their revenge, guys. If you think they're going to roll over, you're crazy. I think they will make mistakes, but it won't be because they didn't try. It'll be because they make mistakes. Mayhew, what were you going to say?
No, Tyson, I agree with you wholeheartedly. This team's going to come not only prepared, but I think one individual in particular, Justin Fields. Look, gentlemen, they're likely going to have like the number 1 overall draft pick, maybe the number 2. There's all the controversy of like, hey, do we move on to a different quarterback? Is Justin Fields like the future? He wants to solidify that more than anybody, I imagine. So no, it's going to be a tight one, in my opinion. My question to you, sir, is you kind of touch about how last year that Lions game you're at, you put that one on A-Rod and the coach in particular. And I wholeheartedly agree. Buddy, what I'm wondering is this year, given a quarterback playing in his first year, a roster of just rookies across the offensive board, and all like the hardship that this team has endured throughout the year, where we've been cast away by even members of this like podcast, only to like rise, only to fall, only to rise again and peak at the end of the year. You feel like Matt LaFleur should be in the discussion for Coach of the Year?
Absolutely. What he's done with Jordan Love is a sight to be seen. I think there was a time in the middle of the season where it looked like he lost the team to me, but I don't think he did. I think they were still with him in the locker room. I think the defense might have given up on Barry, but I think LaFleur has done some real pulling together of this group and making them feel like these young boys can become men this year and pull them together. And I think he deserves to get his accolades, get his flowers, right?
Be in the conversation. That was very well put, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah.
What did we say before? LaFlowering? What did we say? LaFlourishing.
Flourishing.
LaFlourishing. That's what we said before you guys joined it. That's what we're he's LaFlourishing. Well, buddy, first and foremost, thank you for joining us on the podcast. What are some final thoughts before we take a quick commercial break?
Well, don't forget to cheese up. Sit in your favorite chair. wear the right outfit. I got to tell you, last week, all day long, I got up, put my Packer gear on first thing in the morning, thinking that it was a home game at Lambeau. I'm wearing my home game outfit all day long, waiting for this game to start. And then all of a sudden, it comes on TV, and it's in Minnesota, and I'm in the bedroom ripping off my clothes, putting all my white jersey stuff on, my white pants, my white socks. I was like, oh my God. I was panicking.
Close one.
But, I'm going to be ready this week. You know, do you remember this game? To go to the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah.
So did they.
I remember.
Yeah, so did they.
Guys, it's ironic that our last Super Bowl run, the Bears stood in our way. And here we are trying to make the playoffs, and who's in our way? But the pesky Bears. So, I mean, history schmistery, they fucking hate us. So, like, I just hope we can continue to build off of what happened last week. I hope that wasn't just really bad quarterback play on our opponent. And I can't discredit anything the offense did for the Green Bay Packers, that it's legit. And it's chartably getting better and better and better. There's no way you can look at this team and not respect any part of it. Before, I think week 1, the issue that the Bears had against us is they didn't know who we were, or they didn't know what Jordan Love was. They didn't know what kind of offense we were going to run. They're just stabbing at the. Now they got a full year of tape to figure out who we are. We know who the Bears are. Now they know who we are. So this is really Luke Getsy. Is he gonna embarrass, Joe Barry and put that nail in the coffin? Because I'll tell you what, I don't think a lot of people make it out alive if we lose this game. I think there's a lot of heads that are going to roll within 72 hours of that loss. If that happens, if we win, now we're really doing something. And I feel like if we win, we beat a playoff team, because this team can stop us from moving on. Like, this is a playoff game, and they're a playoff defense. We're not going to, the next team we play is not going to have a better defense than the Bears.
Also, the Bears have played the division really tough this year. They lost to us week 1. They lost their first matchup each to the Lions and the Vikings. But since then, they've beat the Vikings, they've beat the Lions, and they played the Lions really tough in both of those games. That loss to the Lions was, I think, a 1-score loss late. Goff drive, 2-minute drive kind of thing. So they've really taken this division seriously, and that's something we see bad teams do, right? They look for something to hang their hat on, some way they can measure their improvement. They're 2-3 right now against the division. They'd love to finish 500. We can't let that happen. I hope the Packer fans show up in droves. I really hope, the proximity to Chicago always makes it a little nervous when it comes to are they going to scoop up tickets? But I think we've got a handle on these Bears. Like Tyson said, we know who they are, and I'm ready to play them. I want to win this thing, and I want to get in.
I also don't think Matt LaFleur forgot about what happened last year, and I highly doubt he's going to not give his best. This is going to be our best plays as well. We should be able to outcoach their offensive guy, because he used to work for us.
Well, buddy, you've been a great guest. I wish we could have had you on at least one more time this year, and maybe if we make it into the playoffs, you can tell us what it was like going to that game this week.
When?
Yes,
Into the
buddy.
playoffs.
Sorry. When we make the playoffs, you can tell us what it was like at Lambeau this weekend. Remember, everybody, raise money for Buddy.
Raise money for Buddy.
We'll also accept just straight tickets.
Absolutely. You all know who you are, all of our friends that have season tickets. And with that, we'll be back.
I got a question for you all, real quick.
Oh, here we go.
If you got time.
Yeah, no, go ahead, bud.
For you, buddy.
How did you feel after that first 3 and out against the Vikings? What was your mindset?
Can I go first?
Oh shit!
I'll
Here
be
we
quick.
go. Or was it, we're going to fucking do this?
I was not worried. I was like, that is okay. Jordan's going to get these misses out of the way right away. As long as we remember to run the ball and we start finding success up front from the offensive line. I mean, I'm at this point, I'm watching the push first and foremost, boys. I'm watching the offensive line push. And like when the ball's hiked and we head in the direction where that is the opposite of where we were, starting, I know we have an upper hand in this game. In the last 3 games, those opening drives, we're getting push. And that gives me way more confidence than, getting down into the red zone and then shitting the bed on a fourth and goal.
Yeah, my take on it was
Let's just keep showing that all night long.
Woo!
yeah.
I'm sorry, I wasn't here earlier, guys. That's hot. That's good
That's
stuff.
hot.
God damn, they look good this game.
I thought it was extremely interesting that LaFleur decided to go for or to receive after winning the coin toss.
Bro, fuck.
I thought that was just such a gutsy call. I mean, you never see that. They all defer. And so yeah, he was looking to make statements. That's my thing with this last one. And that opening drive didn't go his way. But the
rest of them did.
The rest of them did. And he was coming out to be tenacious. And if you're gonna be, tenacious, you're gonna have to take some risks. So it surprised me more than anything. I don't know if I felt one way or the other about it. I was just kind of like, what is he doing? But sometimes you just got to trust the coach.
Buddy, for me, it was twofold. I think I've been to that stadium and I hate it. And it's a very intimidating spot to play. You know what I mean? So to come out and like fall a little bit short initially, I'm like, hey, it's okay. But for me, it was Jordan Love's eyes. And I will admit that this guy looks calm, like game by game. Like that's kind of like his thing. But instances like the New York Giants game, like right out of the gate, he was missing everything way too hot. He looked shaken. He walked off that field and he looked frustrated. Like he's like, no, we fucking got these guys. Give me another crack at it. We're going to be just fine. And I felt good from the get-go and I didn't look back one time.
All right.
I would also say that I have a bit of a worry, and I talked about this with the guys before Tyson, buddy, you got on here, which was, were we good? Were they bad? Was it just a bad day for the Vikings? Was it a bit of all three? But I got to say, I've watched the game now probably 3 times. And if we play this kind of Packer huck it, chuck it football, we cannot be beaten. As long as we don't make the simplest of errors in judgment from the top down, this team is unstoppable.
Oh, I like it.
And the reason I ask is because I truly believe that the fans have power. And our attitudes and behaviors during the game send vibes. Let me say vibes, power. I don't know. But I know when you're in the stadium, you feel it more. But I think as long as we're thinking positive and our body language is positive while we're watching the game and we're rooting for our team, it makes a difference when there's thousands and thousands of people out there doing the same thing in their homes. It makes a difference. And so I don't allow myself to get down. I don't allow myself to get upset. And I make sure that I'm always positive when I'm watching a football game.
And it couldn't have been shown any better than this last game, Pops. I'm sure something we talked about very little before, but the fact that the Packer fans in one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL was able to get a "Go Pack Go" chant so loud that you could hear it on live television, that just gave me like the oogly googly bumps.
That was great.
After
That was great.
kissing cousin loving fucking shirtless dip rag, he blows the horn with his son, and then they get just completely demolished. I mean, that might be his last that might be his last time being a Viking. It's totally possible they could move on from Kirk Cousins. His rehab might not go well, and that might be his last thing he did as a Viking.
Great visit.
Well, buddy, I love you. We love you. We're happy to have you on the podcast. We want to have you back. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a quick commercial break.
Yeah. We talking Green Bay Packers football.
3rd down, 8 to go. Fields pressured immediately. Athleticism escapes that one. Fields, are you kidding
Dealing
me?
with that.
Has the
This
first
is what's gonna haunt
down
you.
and scoots.
He does this like at least once or twice a game.
I literally had this
And-
video along with 3 others just like it from this game
Yeah.
that I was terrified about.
Dude, and he's also throwing the ball really well, especially to the tight ends. And then their number 1 wide receiver, guys, is no joke. DJ Moore, fuck, man. How do we not get this guy? This guy's a top 10 wide receiver. He's got, let me see here, 70 or 92 receptions for 1,300 yards even at this point in the year. He is a stud, and he makes everybody look good. He also is consistently open, has quick late hands. He is a nightmare for us to guard.
He is
So,
also coming off an ankle injury and is listed as
Oh, yeah.
questionable.
Oh, he's always hurt, but that doesn't mean anything when you're a big player. The Packers D is no slouch, though. We are coming off of a 4-sack game with 14 quarterback hits. That performance against the Vikings should concern them, even if they are a running quarterback. They tried that with the Vikings. We held in our lanes, and we made them pay, made them switch to a different quarterback. So I think that if you thought Tommy DeVito was good, watch out, because Justin Fields is a lot better. And we have to be concerned about that. As of late, the tight ends have started to really help him out. What about the run game? You know, guys, you're like, what about the run game, Tyson? It's scary. Khalil Herbert looks in the zone right now. He is super explosive. He's coming off back-to-back 100-yard plus games. He is hungry, and it doesn't seem like they're giving him the ball as much. And when he gets it, he does great big things. Also, their run blocking is something they're good at. Pass blocking is something they're bad at. They're like the backwards version of our offensive line. We're like, we can pass block, but we're not great run blockers. It's the opposite for the Bears. They really are going to rely on break and contain, and that is how they win. And all teams don't have the discipline not to bite and go after Fields. And there's a good reason for that. He's been sacked. Let me see here. He's been sacked 45 times this year. That's a lot of sacks for anybody. So, I mean, Jordan's a better quarterback. He's got 5 3-touchdown games. Fields only has 2. And we are a better team. If we win and the Rams lose, we actually get the 6th spot. But if we lose, we're out. So, like, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of matchups to break down here. But I want to warn anybody who's going to dismiss the validity of the Bears. And remember what we said week 18 last year, which is that it's the Vikings or it's the Lions. They don't mean shit. What are they going to do? They don't even going to make the playoffs, even if they win. What have we got? Aaron Rodgers. We looked past them. We started thinking playoff contention. Where are we going to land? Oh, yeah, we forgot that the Lions came to use us as a turning point for their franchise, which is exactly what that game did. The Bears are in the exact same spot where they're like, if we beat the Packers and don't make the playoffs, we are the bells of the ball the entire offseason. We get the first overall pick. We are going to be building up this team. And honestly, the team is like pretty good if you look at it on paper. It's just not, they're just not there yet. So I feel like if this team is worth respecting, fearing, and giving the best goddamn game we've had all year to. And if we do that, it still might be a tough win, but we'll win. If we look past them for even a down, if we think of them as not important, just the Bears are the Bears, Bears still stuck. Dude, that's a huge advantage to them. If we take care of business, that means we respect our opponent and realize this is a defense that is playoff caliber, even though they'll not make the playoffs. I will say Matt LaFleur is the Jay Cutler of head coaches, though.
What did you say?
So that was Tyson. When I asked that to Buddy, like I just wanted to get his like, I could see you shaking your head in the background. Like, do you feel like he's just not the guy even close? Like, not even should be.
I think he's a brilliant offensive scheme mind. He's the best he's a top 5 offensive coordinator in the game. Apparently he can develop quarterbacks, and he is really good at scheming guys' strengths and like doing that. And that is something McCarthy was terrible at. And like so in that regards, he's the opposite of McCarthy. I don't think we can have stars on this team, give him a second, certainly not a third contract, and expect that guy's voice to be heard. I don't think he can control powerful, big personalities. I don't think we're going to get any free agents with him. I don't think we're going to get any coaches with ex-head coaching experience. I just think he's very insecure, and he likes a certain kind of guy that will listen to him. And there's some other kinds of guys that are stars in this league, like San Francisco's full of them. Could he be the head coach of San Francisco and find success? I don't think so. And it's not because the team's not great. It's because he doesn't have the personality to command respect from that level of athlete.
Was he doing the bicycle? Sorry. Was he doing the bicycle thing when he was hurt?
Yeah, he went out like in the first half, I want to say, and then did the bicycle thing. Chaz, you need to please splice like what Tyson just said and like work that into the conversation. Tyson, I think that's an incredible take. I sometimes wonder.
What did he say? I'm sorry. I had you guys muted for a minute.
You'll have to go back. I'm not going to like repeat it, but
what Tyson, was it at least about?
About Matt LaFleur, as a head coach. Yep.
Okay.
Tyson, if he were to have chosen the proper defensive coordinator that was able to lead that side of the ball where he only needs to work through that, dude, that's a huge difference. When you make the wrong call and then people like, I was going to chime in, it got discombobulated. I think Jair knows Joe Barry is absolute fucking shit. And he's completely tired of it, started acting up in the locker room all year long. He's injured. He's frustrated. He comes out and does what he did in Carolina. Guys, to walk out as a captain, I think is I talked to Tony. It's like one of the most like disrespectful things you could do. And then to almost fuck up the coin toss. This is stuff where it's unheard of. Absolutely unheard of. But he's, Matt sat him down. He's like, look, Jair, we're going to have to sit you down for a game. Okay. You think you can turn this around, turn your attitude around? I agree with you guys. And he's already gone too far. He can't go back, but he's trying to find his way. He's like that nice guy that like had to deal with Rodgers. Yeah, go ahead.
He's consistently needed to execute a person to get control of the locker room. Whether it was that running back that got cut a couple of years ago that everyone was looking forward to him coming back after that ACL injury, something happened. It's important to be a Packer. Cuts him. So everyone's like, oh shit, coach will cut somebody. Then he trades Aaron Rodgers. And they're like, oh no shit, he'll trade Aaron Rodgers. Oh, we'll trade away Razul. Holy shit. Wow. He's going to sit down Jair Alexander. Like he has these moments where he consistently makes the bad guy on our team. And then we transcend past that moment, but it's awkward. It's an awkward energy. And it's the exact kind of shitty management you're talking about. Conflict resolution. We're like, guys, are we really going to have a problem here? Are we going to be okay? Do we just separate you? Or are you going to be all right? And they're both like, no, we're fine. It's like, all right, good. Because I don't want any nonsense. It's like, that's not solving anything. And I don't think the communication is sincere. And that's why I think he keeps talking about communication, is because I feel like there's a game of telephone that goes from when he says what he says to Barry, and Barry says what he says to the positions coach, and then positions coach digest knowing these players on an intimate level, knowing their frustrations on an intimate level, knowing Joe Barry on an intimate level, and how do I reach these guys? I think it's been a little too easy to be like, well, this dipshit thinks it's going to work, but here's how we're going to have to make it work, and I think that has long-term consequences. And even if you get on board, you can't, if you have so much entitlement, like Jair Alexander has, that he will walk out on field. Like, that doesn't just happen. That happens from years of being like turning a blind eye against things that like Patrick Taylor would have gotten cut for the 15th time for. You know,
Are you saying
so
that it's a parenting issue?
I'm saying he doesn't have a set of balls if you are drafted under the second round. He doesn't know what to do because you're clearly better at this than he is. And you were supposed to be this thing, so I don't need to communicate and work with you. That's why you're a first round pick. And like the only first round pick on offense is our quarterback. Everyone else is a third rounder or later, and they love Matt LaFleur. Everyone on the defense is a first and second round pick, and he can't connect with these guys. And I just don't.
No, okay. The more you talk, I feel like I'm actually continuing. I disagree entirely. I think we take a. No, I agree with a lot of what you said about like his like management, but I think if you take a step back and you look at, and we touched on this all last year, man, like coming into this franchise, getting your first gig where they're like, no, we're going to choose your defensive coordinator. Also, Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback. Dude, to digest that and work within that spectrum was fucking hard. They trade Aaron Rodgers. This offense is, no one knew anything about Jordan Love. You admitted yourself that he can develop quarterbacks. The wide receiver core, all that is the most youthful it's ever been. The defense, dude, under Joe Barry, and injuries, Tyson, across the board has been fucking atrocious. And he is one win away from holding this team together and potentially taking them to the playoffs. I think he deserves way more credit from you, man, personally. But that's my take.
I'm not saying
no.
You
had your turn.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Sorry.
I do think he's a great coach. I just don't think I think he put himself in this position we're in right now. I think he is to blame for a lot of our issues. I think he is also to blame for a lot of the success. I also think he is a tougher, stronger, more confident man this year than I've ever seen him in years past. So I will say there's evolution happening there.
That's removing Rodgers, and he had to step into that role, in my opinion.
He needs someone to come in and see him now and be like, this is Matt LaFleur. I respect that man. Yep. I think he needs a fresh, all that side. I think he keeps Tyler Dunn, Stenovich, and cuts everybody else. Because I think those are the only two coaches that have, the wide receivers coach, definitely they're doing great.
He's one of me.
But but really, I feel like there's not anyone else. Offensive line coach, get the fuck out. You suck. I don't care if your dad was Dick Butkus. You're not good. I want a better offensive line coach.
I'm with you.
Okay?
To shift gears, then just say to me, who, I guess everybody here, Ty too, who do you guys think should be coach of the year this year in the NFL? Because that's where you're okay, maybe Matt LaFleur's strength of case is he's at least top 5, maybe top 3.
Yeah,
no,
for sure.
Oh, yeah. There's some candidates out there. Shanahan probably would be the front runner.
I think he's working with an incredibly talented cast. He's one of the best coaches in the NFL. But I'm saying this year for me,
Michael McDaniel.
Yeah,
everybody really likes him. He can be in there. He's top 5.
Yep,
he's top 3.
I agree. I think.
Yeah.
All right. I like LaFleur for consideration, though, Mayhew. I like your larger point of LaFleur for even consideration. It's an interesting thing to think about because he has had to overcome quite a bit of adversity, and to have playoff success on what should be a rebuild year, where most coaches are given a free pass to lose as many games as you have to on a rebuild year. Not LaFleur. He's managed to at least cobble together a postseason run. So I think that's impressive. He's definitely got to make a Joe Barry decision. Is this really the guy that he's going to go all the way with? Or is Joe Barry have to be the sacrificial lamb? I really think Joe Barry, we could do worse. And Joe Barry is one of those situations where are there better defensive coordinators out there? Yeah, I see them. I see them around the league and I'm jealous. But I also think that I don't know. I just don't want to demand like I did last year and expect that Joe Barry would be gone and that my defensive coordinator problems would be solved. And then we start yet another season with Joe Barry as defensive coordinator. So I don't know. There's always a chance the team we run into in the playoffs too just totally has the worst game of the season. I mean, anything can happen. You got to put yourself in a position for it to happen. And the Packers coaching staff, for all the ups and downs this season, has managed to put us with one game away. So
I think it felt like a cheat because the Ravens have just been dominating. But I mean, like John Harbaugh, like what are we talking about here? Like the Ravens have been smashing elite teams in the fucking face. And like Lamar Jackson, I think he's very entertaining, but I mean, he's not like that. I've been
That's
impressed.
the coach of the year right there.
Who?
Yeah. You think so?
that's where I was going to go.
Was it?
Ravens.
Oh,
Ravens,
not the
and they've
Eagles?
done it before, and they have a culture, and they fucking run to the ball. Their
They do
defense
got a
has,
culture.
like, the Bears too, man. Those guys, their defense, they never play catch. They always run to the hole. They consistently meet you in the hole and lay the wood. And that is what it takes to play defense on those teams. They don't care about your athletic ability if you don't want to hit. Like I think there's a lot of that missing, and I wouldn't be surprised if we end up going with a coach off that staff to replace Barry.
Guys, and I think it's important from a drafting standpoint. Like, I think we have wide receiver figured out pretty well. I think offensive linemen, we find a way to bring them in. Like, that's consistent. Defensive side of the ball, I guess cornerbacks we hit on, but everything else is just we're going for the wrong thing. Like you said, it's like athletic or intelligent. We need fucking animals that want to hit and maybe run a 4.6 40, but they fucking come out there and lay the hammer. Like, we just don't go after these guys, and it's apparent. It comes through on the other end.
It makes McDuffie look like a hero. You have McDuffie, who's one of the only guys that's consistently wanting to fucking kill someone to the point that he knocks himself unconscious, triple tackling somebody that's already tackled. This guy wants to hit. You know what I mean? That's what's missing in the league. That's the gem. These kids are not playing like that anymore. You find one of those guys, you snatch them up. I don't care if they're slow. They're crazy. That's what you need. And I just think
there's a lot of. Sorry, buddy, go ahead.
No, there used to be a league full of Chuck Cecils out there just trying to kill dudes. And now we have a league that you name me 5 players that actually hit that you wouldn't consider dirty.
That's the thing. The league is getting away from that now. Everybody's getting, if you're not
on the Ravens, not on the Bears. They do.
If you're willing to get the penalty for the hit, then those are the players I would say I would want too. But the league is changing with that kind of shit. We've all seen that this season.
I think we've got a few of those guys around.
I
think Keyshawn is one of those guys who's going to bring the lumber.
Wait, he said who wasn't dirty.
Oh, yeah, all right. Well, never mind. Keyshawn's got to go then.
Yeah. Dude, the thing about Keyshawn is he could catch a kickoff in the fucking front row of the stands and still think he can take it to the house. That guy every time.
Right.
Oh my God. At that game, guys, I was watching. We didn't return one kick that entire Tampa game I was at. And you should have seen this guy have a fucking hissy fit in the end zone. Every time they kicked the ball, he'd be like, damn it, like hitting his head as he's running to the sidelines. I'm like, Keyshawn Nixon is losing his mind because he can't return kicks. Nobody wants this job. And this guy's so pissed that he can't run at these semis that are coming at him. I'm like,
give me the toy. I want the toy.
I love special teams. What is going on? I don't know. And that's what made him a star on this team. And like, it has not been a factor. They just don't kick to him. They're like, oh yeah, we're good. We won't kick to you.
Who was the other one, Ty? You said there were a couple guys. That's Keyshawn, who plays dirty. Who was the other?
Keyshawn. Gary will lay a mofo out.
Oh, Scary Gary.
Oh, yeah. He's a hitter. I mean, he's not he's not dirty either. I think he fits. But
yeah, Quay is one for me. Dude, the guy like just needs to figure it out a little bit more. And I in my heart, I know he's been fucking hurt all year long. He looks slightly different. I think he can be the leader of this defense if he just kind of gets his head straight, has a good fucking coach around him, and he just a scheme that just like works for him. Dude, the guy can fly around the ball, you know?
Mhm.
I will say this: 2 weeks, guys, 2 weeks in a row, we've blitzed that guy over 6 times a game. We never blitzed him before, not even once. It seems like we're saving a defensive mismatch that people don't really have the most tape on until we really needed it. And now we are like, that guy could do the same thing that the guy down in Dallas is doing. What's his name? Peterson or Preston, whatever his name is, the middle linebacker for
Pearson.
them.
There's
Yeah, Pearson. Dude, Micah Parsons. Micah
Parsons,
Parsons. They use he's a middle linebacker. They use like an edge rusher. So like if we look at our team like that, if we switch to the 4-3, Quay's probably going to the outside because he can cover
Dominate.
and run and
run.
seriously get to the quarterback. If you don't take a first step quick, he's around you. He's so fast, and he hits like a lunatic.
And he's on the
Feeling
up.
more and more.
He's on the up. He's had some of his best games just recently. And I think you're right, Mayhew. I think he's been hurt, but if he can heal up in time for this one, he's one of the guys that's going to be key to containing Justin Fields. That's for sure.
Yeah. We talking Green Bay Packers football.
And we're back. Thank you for coming back to Two Dads and a Chaz. At this time, I would love to talk about some matchups that we are going to have to face. I think these are key matchups to determine if we will be successful in moving on to the playoffs or if we will be watching the playoffs from home, licking our wounds and asking heads to roll. The first matchup I've already mentioned, it's going to be DJ Moore versus Jair Alexander. This is crucial that this matchup has a good outcome. The next one I want to see is Herbert and the Bears running back room against our middle linebacker Wilson. This is a big test for him. This guy is filling in the McDuffie. I doubt that Campbell's going to play. I don't really know the injury report. Chaz might hit us with that later. But right now, as far as I know, it's going to be Wilson and it's going to be Quay. And I think that is that clearly there's one way they're going to go. They're going to attack Wilson. Is he going to be able to be stout and actually meet him in the hole? Rashawn Gary and the pass rush against Braxton Jones, a second-year first-round left tackle, and Darnell Wright, a rookie right tackle, both top 10 super awesome tackles that I wanted on the Packers. So those guys are not slouches by any means. Are they going to be smart enough to let Gary run past them so that they create a running lane for their quarterback? That's the big question, is can we stay home and beat those guys in a way that closes the window for Fields to run? How does the inside pass rush do against former Packers? Those being Lucas Patrick at center. Then we also have Nate Davis and Telvin Jenkins. Those are the three middle. Those are all good players too. Their offensive line can run block straight up. So are we going to get beat up from that? Are they going to wear us down? Are we going to still have a pass rush in the fourth quarter? That is going to be a big determination of how this game goes. We have a rotation. Will we use it properly? We're going to need to, because their offensive line is designed to wear you down. Can we hold our spots? Or will we give up the rushing lane, like I said? And can we tackle? That's really it. Can we tackle? Because I feel like the team with more missed tackles is going to lose. And if we miss tackle, our scheme has no room for a missed tackle. If everybody tackles when they get to their guy, our defensive coordinator might be coordinator of the year. The problem is that one missed tackle opens a floodgate, and we do it all day. On the other side of the ball, our O against their D, our offense against their defense. Jordan Love being clutch. I think that's what's going to come down to. Off-platform throws like we saw the last 2 weeks. Is he going to be quick on his hits? And is he going to hit those tight ends up the seam? That's what it's going to take to beat this defense, is fast, straight-on hits to guys that are running up the seam, spreading that defensive linebacker squad out because they want to blitz them in, make them run backwards, and that's really going to help us. Is Aaron Jones going to get loose? We need him to. We also need Dylan to make him pay and control the clock. Time of possession is important in this game. will Reed and big play Bo Melton continue their dominance over this league using their speed and size to their advantage. I'm very curious. Kraft and Misgraves up the seam, and then Wicks just sitting down in those holes in the zone. So these guys know how to beat this defense. The question is, are we going to have Jordan Love enough time, or is he going to be able to make enough off-platform throws to hit those guys? And the last thing, the O-line must hold. The O-line must continue to run block, and Josiah DeGuara cannot make even one mistake. That's the keys to winning this game.
He actually bagged my
dad.
groceries at Piggly Wiggly today.
I know.
He's pretty
He
confident.
fucked it up, didn't he? He put the fucking eggs on the bottom and the cans on top.
Yeah.
So those are my matchups for the game, guys. As I break down these last two games, I feel really of the Bears. I feel I have more respect for this team than I ever expected to, and I'm more hyped for this game than if you looked at this that I thought was possible looking at the schedule at the beginning of the year. This is the biggest game of the year.
With that, let's talk about some injuries on the injury report. There'll be some kind of fun music here, be some fucking kind of fun music here. Or it'll just be me editing that weird shit out. All right, here we go. So let's start with our opponents. For the Bears, the big ones, there aren't many, and these are all going to be questionables. Quarterback Jalen Johnson is, as of now, did practice a little bit today. I'm sorry, did not participate today with a shoulder injury. Not sure if that's going to be too much of an issue. But as far as the rest of the
tight ends.
What's that?
That helps the tight ends.
Yeah, well, speaking of tight ends, Cole Kmet did not practice at all, and there is no actual news about it. Nobody was able to get any firm answers on why he didn't practice, but that's all we know. DJ Moore was out with a ankle injury, but he did participate lightly in practice, whereas wide receiver Darnell Mooney, who is also questionable, is out with concussion protocol as of now. So it's literally going to come down to whether he can, I think either the day of or day before, will be able to play. So we won't know any of that again until probably right before game time. As far as the Packers go, on the did not practice, A.J. Dionne, with his thumb injury, did not practice at all today. I think they're just saving him so nothing else bothers him so we can bust him out. For the game day, Rudy Ford, obviously. Elton Jenkins, knee/ankle. We were talking about McDuffie. He also is on concussion protocol, which, again, I think will come down to whether or not he has enough time as of days to get on the field. We'll find out probably the day before or day of. And Preston Smith. Now, there were a bunch of guys in limited. I'm not going to go into limited practice because I'm just not going to go into it. But some of the big ones, like Christian Watson, Dontavian Wicks, Quay Walker. I'm not sure what his injury actually was. And then, obviously, the big one from this last game, Jaden Reed. And hopefully we get to see Jonathan Owens out there as well.
Guys, we come into week 18. I'm shocked that any one of these motherfuckers can stay on the field with what they've been dealing with in this gauntlet, in this sport. And at the same time, everything you just said, Chaz, I guarantee like 99% of these guys like see the field. This is just what they do. You know what I mean? LaFleur is going to sit them, try to rest them the best they can. They'll do whatever it takes to get on the field. But I would expect to see a lot of these faces on it. McDuffie is the one I'm really kind of curious about. You don't want to rush the concussion. And when he went off the field, he was like crying and like didn't know quite where he was.
Yeah.
Like it was like a bad one compared to like what we've seen, maybe minor ones, but I'd love to see him back out there if it's possible.
Yeah, it was. It also wasn't just a 30-second timeout. This was a full took a 30-second and then had to take a commercial break. So I think with the way concussion protocol is going now, again, I think it'll be the day before that we'll really find out if he can play. But I don't see it coming. He got rocked pretty hard. And
the only other thing I'd point out is just the sheer volume of players that are dealing with something. We've got 15 guys on that list listed as questionable. I think they're like's been said before, but they're going to tough through it. I just hope they don't have to for too long. It would be nice, and I know it's dreaming, but it would be nice to also put the Bears away by the third quarter and get some of these guys that are dinged up and have played and fought like warriors all season. Just all the little bit of rest we can. So I know these guys are itching to put the miles on. They want to get into the playoffs for sure. They've got many motivating factors to want this win. I think they get it, but they're going to have to do it with broken thumbs and bad ankles and sore wrists. And that's just football, baby.
With that, guys, I want to know score predictions and who's going to have the first touchdown. I'm going to start with Aaron Mayhew. Who is going to have the first touchdown of the game?
First TD, I'm going to lean into the tight end group. I was kind of going back and forth. I trying to overthink it and be like Sims. No. My boy Tucker Kraft, I think, is going to come away with the first one here. Get the crowd lit up. Score, Jazzy boy. This is going to be like a really hard fought tight one. I don't think we're going to put up 30 against this defense. And I think it's going to come down to like final possession. It scares me just a little bit. I'm going to call it 26-24 Pack. And as far as a big dick day, just to throw this one out there, Rashawn Gary. I need like a resurgence, my man. Like dominate on defense for me, please. Back to you.
Love it. So we've got Tucker Kraft coming in with the first score, a 26-24 tight game, and a big dick day player of Rashawn Scary Gary. I like it. Ty, my man, what are your predictions?
My predictions. I'm going Aaron Jones first score. And I'm going to take I think the Packers pull away and are just the better second half team here, make less mistakes. The Bears get in their own way with some penalties. We're looking at 27-16.
Do you also have a BDD player of the day?
Yeah, it's Quay. Quay's going to come out and be just an animal again. I think he was questionable because his vampire fangs were coming in, which always makes him just a little extra beastie at the end of the year.
I'm going to go ahead and take the score of 23-21 for the Packers, because if we keep with recent games, Anders Carlson will miss at least one extra point.
That is a thing. That really is a thing.
It is.
So I also think that first touchdown is going to be Jaden Reed. I think Dick Day is going Jones.
Ooh, all right.
Nice. I like that. I think the final score is going to be 30-21. I think that we're going to blow the doors open in the fourth quarter. I think their strategy is going to backfire, and we're gonna be able to hold a comfortable more than one touchdown lead while they, scare us by driving down and then have a turnover, and then we just finish out strong. So I foresee us. I think it's going to be a close game that at moments we don't lead. And it's going to be a hard fought battle for three quarters, and then the wheels will fall off and the playoff team will rise to the top.
And who's scoring first?
I was going to say Jones, but then Ty said it. So now I'm going to go Reed.
Also with Reed,
but
all right.
I think Jordan Love is going to be the big dick player of the game.
Ooh.
Tyson, will you have a little bit of guts and just say Josiah Deguara for that first TD? No one sees it coming.
All he has to do is not have his name said, and he did a great job. He needs to be invisible with no errors and the least important job on the entire team. Just don't fuck up, buddy. Just you don't deserve 81. Just
take
get out
those
there
drugs and just make a normal face, as we say.
Just real quick, guys. If this is the last game of the year for us, the next time we'll be talking will be an end of year wrap up. And I just want to say before then, while we still have some real skin in the game and some real hope, that guys, it's up to us, Packers Nation. It's up to us to get this right. Buddy's 100% right. If you have any part of you that you've been protecting to this point, it's time. It's time to believe. You got to get out there and believe. You got to do what it takes to make this game all it can be. And I feel like at this point, the Packers are a satellite dish, and they are there to absorb and collect our love. And if you don't send it, and we're sitting there looking for the first thing wrong to complain about, and we want to start complaining about Joe Barry, that is the wrong message to send to that satellite dish. God damn it. We need to win this game, and you got to believe that this team can do it. And please, I beg of you, send positive energy to the team. Gather with your luckiest friends. For God's sakes, cheese up on D like you mean it. Like you mean it. And then also like and subscribe to Two Dads and a Chaz. Give us some likes. What the fuck's wrong with you people? Do you not like us? I've said this before. It really grinds my gears. You know what grinds my gears? I get 167 views on a video and 2 likes. So what? 164 of you fucking hated it? Why don't you tell me if you like it?
They might, Tyson. They
Indifferent?
might be opening a can of worms there.
Experience. No,
Bunch of
no.
green pepper eating motherfuckers.
Get on here, share it around. But if you like the show, let's spread the joy. Let's spread the message, because it takes all of us to get a win, not just the guys on the field. It takes the whole damn Packers nation. God bless.
Right. And our hashtag this week, my friends, is the Bears still suck. It's a classic. It's tried and true. It's worked in the past. So with a 3, 2, 1, hashtag
The
Bears
Bears
still
Still
suck.
The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck.